Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Duckville here, bringing you Heart of the Swarm action. It's going to be a TvT here today on Antigua Shipyard. Down at the bottom left-hand side is a good friend of mine who has been playing some wonderful Terran play over quite a long period, including the Brood War period. Down at the bottom left in the blue, it is our player from Team ROOTheOgnis. And he's going to be up against a Terran player up at the top right here. His name looks a little bit odd right now, but you may know him by his former name. Well, not former name. His real name, which is FXOGumiho. So he's going to be playing out here. It looks like it is going to be a TvT, and in fact, it is going to be a cheesy opening for Gumiho to start off this this particular matchup. Of course, TvT in Heart of the Swarm has been a very interesting thing. Of course, a lot of players liking to use Reaper openings, and you know, they're still around. Like, a lot of players will still bust down a couple of Reapers to get some early scouting going, to try and figure out what is up with your opponent's play. What are they going for? What are they doing? When are they doing it? All these kinds of things. And, you know, even before, even after the nerf, that is, the Reaper nerf that happened, that is still going along. So, Gumiho is going to start off with the proxy racks. Of course, this is a crossbots only map, so he knows that if he puts his barracks right here, then, well, he only has to walk just down here and then across, and then he's up in the base, and that's pretty much, you know, a very short flight time for those, for the Reapers if they are to come out, which I'm assuming they will. I mean, there's no point in building the racks that close if you're going to go for Marines, because that would be a very odd play. He has gotten a gas, so it is definitely going to be those Reapers there. Of course, we can see that Ognis has also gotten his going as well, going to be coming up a little bit later than Gumiho, so his gas count is going to be a slight amount shorter, but he will be able to get this racks up in time. Looks like they are going to complete at relatively similar timings right now. Of course, this does mean that it will be a Marine versus a Reaper starting off at the initial part of this map. But for the Ognis, he's scouting out what his opponent is up to. He's just going to head across now. He's going to look inside and see, alright, where's that pesky barracks there? I can see that there is actually nothing going on. Going to check inside the smoke, going to come across to the side as well, and then realize, oh, alright, there is something funky going along with the barracks here. It's not inside the main base, so he's going to have to be very careful with his positioning. Looks like he will put the Marine just off to the side here. I don't think he doesn't have any binoculars, so this Marine cannot see what is going on, but we do see that the Reaper jumps up. Of course, the Reaper with, well, looks like we'll have a little bit of a micro battle inside the smoke. The Reaper losing that battle there. I can't believe that. That is really incredible that the Reaper lost that fight, but the Marine's still alive on 5 HP. I'm just going to bring across a couple of SCVs just to try and sit them on the edge here and get them ready for a possible secondary Reaper, which will be coming along. He still cannot see that. Imagine if this SCV was just up here. He should be able to see it, but unfortunately not. Looks like the secondary Reaper are now coming through with 2 Marines firing. It looks like that is not going to get much done, and the Reaper does die in a very dramatic way just there. And it looks like Gumiho is going to be a little bit sad about that. Does have his economy going back home. Of course, we've got a double gas inside the main base here, so he is going to follow this up with a factory just across to the side. It looks like he's going to try and get some extra cheesy play going here. It's like a cheese platter right now. There is so much cheese going on. Who wants some fondue? Because this is going insane. He does have a second command center there. Ognis, of course, just having a quick chat to him to try and figure out if it is actually Gumiho. And it looks like a Reaper does finally make its way inside, so it's going to take a hit from those SCVs, but of course he will be able to repair with those, will heal up with those combat drugs. So this is just having a quick chat with these guys right now. Looks like the starport just going up now as well. Got a couple of Hellions on the way. And for Gumiho, it looks like, yep, it is going to be a Banshee play. He's finished off a tech lab just here on the side. The starport just going to jump across and pick up the tech lab for its own. Going to get started with the a Banshee, I would assume. Yeah, it is. Just right across. Just, wow, just literally just seconds away from vision for Ognis there. But we do see the racks now just poking through. He's going to have a quick look at what tech is available for Ognis right now. Just wants to see how much of a counter there is available. A couple of Reapers also going to jump inside the main base here. We'll be able to get a little bit of damage done, taking out one of the SCVs. May try and get a couple of these Marines, and they do get one, do get a second. They may even get a third. Well, no, just the SCV was looking a bit dangerous there. And the first couple of Hellions for Ognis to finally get across the other side of the map are greeted by a singular SCV, and that is it right now. Meanwhile, for Gumiho, he's dropped down the barracks inside the main base here. This is perhaps a little bit of a tactic just to not to mention block off any sort of add-on being brought in there, but also it helps in just sort of deflecting Ognis if he wants to try and lift up his factory or anything like that to switch over the add-ons here. Gumiho may be able to jump on top of it, so that's a little bit of an interesting thought to have about this particular play. Of course, the Hellions at the front door of Gumiho were not able to get too much done, but the Banshee now inside has gotten 4 kills, may be able to get a couple more, but no, a Viking comes across and is able to defend this for Ognis. So he will be able to sort of steady himself right now. He's down at 23 workers. Of course, this engineering bay did get stopped for a moment there, and the barracks has just landed here for some reason. It's just going to sit there and not do too much, but a couple of mines have now wandered their way across the map. It looks like they did get 1 kill, damaged a couple of these Hellions as well. The Banshee is now going to make its way across to the opposite side of the base, and outside the scan range, Gumiho is getting a ridiculous amount of damage done here. He's 4 scans that lower the amount of detection that Ognis has here, and the Widow Mine is able to make its way inside the base and gets a couple of kills before being taken down. So Gumiho has got so much pressure going on right here now, and despite having absolutely nothing at home, the Hellions of course take a long time to get through that front door. So we do see a really heavy harassment play here from Gumiho, and it looks like 1 Marine was produced. Are you serious? 1 Marine is going to try and hero its way into this base here. That guy is a little bit too trigger happy there, but finally does get taken out. Looks like a little bit more micro action going on between these two players. The Hellion on 2 health here. Reaper's just trying to get away, and they will just get away from those from the Hellions, but the Hellions now have to be very careful with how they proceed from here. And it looks like, well, Ognis trying to take advantage of his Vikings here, trying to stop any units from coming out of that starport. But the Banshee does get away, and we'll probably see, yep, there it is, the lift up from the 2 buildings here. And I would assume that this game is going to steady out for a short moment here. Of course, this has been a really intense opening to this game. Both players still sitting on 1 base. Ognis now eventually going to get across to start his own natural base here as well. But just a ridiculous amount of harassment. Very good utilization of the small amount of units that he had there by both players. In fact, Gumiho, of course, using those cloaked Banshees to get some damage done. His Widow Mine even got a few kills inside the mineral line there. And as we can see, total workers killed, 13-1. So Gumiho sitting in a very nice position right now. He has just also established his natural expansion here. He's sitting in a nice little worker lead there, 36 in total. He's not an incredible amount in front, but it is certainly you know, something that you will consider when looking at how the economies go for both of these players. And it looks like the Banshee is back, has made its way through, has a little bit of energy to expend on that cloak, and Ognis, well, he's a little bit trapped for how he's going to deal with this. Looks like the Vikings will come about finally trying to defend against that. They will save the reactor that's here. The Banshee going for a last shot, but unfortunately not able to make it, and the expansion is finally going to be secure for the Ognis. So he'll be able to get started on his economy right there. It looks like we are going to have a mech play coming out of Gumiho. The first Banshee of Ognis has finally made his way across to try and get his own harassment done. Makes his way through and is able to take down a couple of these SCVs. 3 in total, going to be at least 4. There we go, 5 now in total, and you know, that's a nice little win back there for Ognis. He's kept the SCV count down just a little bit here. Another attack inside the natural base. So much harassment for both of these players is going on right here, and well, it looks like the worker kill tally has been relatively evened up. We can see that Gumiho has lost his own 13 workers there to all of these attacks that have been coming across. It looks like the fun never stops here. Ognis now going to drop in the back of the main mineral line there. Vikings dropping down. They're going to take down this mine before it is able to burrow. Yes, they are. Now able to take care of some of these SCVs as well. We'll watch the worker kill tally just start to climb for Ognis, and that is a really nice little victory there for him to be able to just sort of take one back for the team, able to get some more damage done there. And a Thor just walked into an SCV dead body and pushed it off the side. I'm not sure if I saw that right, but I'm pretty sure that's what I saw. Now in retribution there, this SCV is just blocking the way, so the Thor can't get past. That's quite hilarious. But as I was saying, things have sort of stabilized for the moment. We've now got Gumiho sitting on a total of, we've got him up at, where is it, 3 factories in total. Yep, gonna add in another couple more, bringing him to a total of 5. So he's definitely gonna go into that mech style there. Of course, we can already see that he has +2 on the vehicle weapons on the way. Meanwhile, for Ognis, he's gonna do a very, very similar sort of thing. We've got a couple of extra factories for him coming along. Still no armory, just as of yet. There we go, finally gets started just down here at the natural. So he is going to go into mech, and we're going to see a mech versus mech in Heart of the Swarm. I can't say I've actually casted a mech versus mech at a high level in Heart of the Swarm just yet. I have played in a mech versus mech, although that's not exactly high level, but it's something that I haven't actually seen too much of recently, just because of the fact that a lot of players like to go for bio because of the medevacs being boosted up with well, this particular skill here, Ignite Afterburners, allowing them to jet across the map very quickly. And of course, you know, when you add in some late game Ravens and these kinds of things, you add in the fact that you can also utilize Hellbats along with the medevacs there, and it is you know, a really potent strategy to use. And it looks like Gumiho will try and get some of his own worker kills here. The tanks inside the main base, a couple of them sieged up here for Ognis, so he is able to defend against this for the most part, losing only a couple of workers, but we are still relatively even on the worker loss tallies. So very nicely done there by the Ognis to fend that off. What I would really like to see is him just ducking down on this tech lab here. That's the coolest thing, and I have not seen it for a very long time. Nope, he's just going to drop down the Vikings, kill that off, and continue to scout about with that barracks. So it looks like he has taken a hidden base. His third has been taken down the bottom right-hand side here. Of course, the normal third base has been blocked for the moment by a singular Reaper just sitting off here. This guy's got no fear, even though he's got no upgrades, and we'll see if Gumiho is able to recognize that his opponent has no third base, or whether he does have the hidden base. And it looks like a little bit of a Thor ship drop going on here, trying to take down some of these tanks. Does he get the tank? Loses vision, unfortunately. That is a really, really sad little state of play there for Gumiho. He could have been able to kill off that tank, but unfortunately the medevac was forced back by the Vikings that were coming across. And now Ognis is going to find that that base has been blocked for the moment. A few Hellions still inside the main, trying to clean up some of these drops that continually occur here by Gumiho. And we can see, just looking at the upgrades, of course, we have Gumiho sitting at +2 on his weapons for those the mechanical ground units there. They're going to try and march into this third base here. They're going to block it off, and he's going to be thinking, well, you know, I've stopped your third base. Things are looking quite good for me right now. And he is, you know, still sitting at a total of 58 workers, but he's actually behind Ognis now, because Ognis has been able to establish that fourth base, sorry, the third base just across to the side, so he's been able to keep his economy in a decent position. But now with this attack coming through, it looks like Gumiho is going to be able to just hold this position. As we said, he still has not actually seen this base, so he's been, you know, a little bit fooled here by Ognis, who's been able to take that ninja base. Looks like we did get a very old school tank drop inside the main base, which did get a couple of kills there. Very nicely done by Gumiho, and the fight continues off at the third base of Ognis here. But as we said, Gumiho still not aware that the third has been taken across to the side, and looks like we did get another drop up here at the third base of Gumiho while the fight's still going on. It looks like the Thor are able to get a huge amount of damage done taking down that Raven there. This guy may look a little bit different. Of course, you can see the plating on his back, and the guns have been moved around and all these kinds of cool things. That's the high impact payload mode, which does 28 damage at 10 range. So these guys are really good at dealing with air units here, and it looks like we will have a push coming through from Gumiho, trying to break the lines here, but so many tanks are now sieged up despite the small upgrade deficit here for Ognis. He has just so many tanks already prepared for this attack, and now he only needs to deal with these few tanks that are up here at the third base, and I think he's just going to wander his way inside there. There's no real reason to try and slow push up, and looks like he does eventually get up there, of course losing a couple of his tanks in the process, but I mean, you know, he's able to take this third base here. The orbital command will finally drop down. The guy who's piloting this thing has been saying, alright, thank you, I'm finally going down, I need to get some food. But of course this base across to the side, still working wonders for Ognis right now. He's now effectively got 3 bases prepared, while Gumiho is only taking his 4th right as of now. So things are at a very interesting and possibly precarious position right now for Gumiho. He is up in supply 135, and he's got all of these factories producing units. Of course, we've got Thors coming out and with their +3 to weapons almost done, these guys are going to be doing a huge amount of damage. And once again, we see a little bit of an attack here inside the third base of Gumiho, but not really able to get too much damage done. And well, it looks like Ognis yet again has caught a nice little break here, setting a marine up. This guy has been camping out here for a very long time. He set up a tent and has been there for just ages, smoking cigarettes and eating marshmallows and things up there, but he has finally been able to do something useful, catches that fourth base going up, and Gumiho looks like he's going to try and take another base to try and deal with this issue, but we will have another Hellion run by going up into that base there. Of course, the SCV train is on the way, and I wonder if this is going to get roasted up. It looks like Gumiho trying to save the day with some of those Hellions coming across, able to get in and get some defense done there. I don't think too much was lost, but of course the worker tally is still very, very similar right now between these two guys, and it looks like we will have them both going up to 4 bases, possibly even a 5th very soon. I would not be surprised if Ognis starts to perhaps assert some of his dominance in the middle here. He may be able to push in through the middle section, and if he can control the watchtower, of course, a very important part of this map is this Zelnaga watchtower. As we can see from Gumiho, gives you vision of the gold bases there, of part of the attack pass. Of course, through the middle section, you can see everything that is going on in there, and you know, if you can control that, that is a really nice position to be in, especially as a Terran player on this map. So looks like Ognis trying to get some more damage done. We still do not have Blue Flame. I'm very interested in the choice of his tactics here. He's not gone for the transformation servos, and nor has he actually gone for the Blue Flame, but it looks like we'll have a little bit of a bigger problem to deal with right now. Hellbat drop inside the main base by Gumiho. He even drops in a singular siege tank there, able to get some good damage done. Ognis sieging up some tanks down at the bottom of the cliff, able to take down the majority of these forces, and it looks like it will be cleaned up eventually with not too much of a trouble for Ognis there. So he does clean that up for the most part. We have a couple of extra Hellbats just off to the side, but the front door has been busted, and Ognis is now inside this base here. He's able to roast up some of those SCVs that are left here at the 4th base. Meanwhile, it looks like he is trying to sort of move across to deflect this attack that may try and come through from Gumiho. Gumiho is still sitting on 0-3. Where is his armor upgrade? It is coming along. It's around about halfway done. Ognis, meanwhile, with his double armory, has been able to almost catch up on the upgrades. He's got +2-2 just about done, but it looks like the Thors are going to try and march their way through here. Of course, these guys do incredible amounts of damage, 39 damage. The Thor's hammer, the Mjolnir, able to just smash through all of the units there, and with some double attacks now coming through, Gumiho looks to try and attack across on multiple sides. Unfortunately, he has been caught out a little bit. This attack through the top is perhaps a few seconds late. If this came through at the same time that the Thors were marching on the top side there, and this may have actually gotten a lot more damage done, but he is forced to retreat. Some of the units now sieging up and getting prepared for the attack that is coming through. Ognis now with his 2-2 just now done, and his upgrades are, while he's a little bit behind on the weapons upgrade, he's still going to be able to do a powerful amount of damage here with his economy up in a very nice position right now. He's up to 76 workers. Gumiho on 93 SCVs. Dude, you need to calm down a little bit. I know he's a fantastic player, but it looks like the attack is going to continue to push in here from Ognis. Siege tanks are all about that, and they're going to try and siege up and slowly push through. It looks like Ognis is going to push across. Gumiho says good. He's very happy with the situation right now. I'm not really sure why he'd be happy with that. SCV is brought to the front here, and they're going to try and get some damage done, of course, soaking up some of the siege tank damage. Gumiho forced to just lose so many of his workers there. However, of course, he's still up at 62, so it's not too bad. But, you know, he's lost quite a lot right here, and Ognis has been able to slowly make his way up, and he's able to siege up this base, despite having a very low mineral count left over here at the 3rd. If he can take this down, this is going to be very nice here, because he's going to establish himself in this position, and he may be able to just siege up this base and slowly take down the outlying bases of Gumiho. He's now taken a 6th down to the southern right-hand side here, still not aware. Oh, actually, yes, he is now aware that that base is there. Perhaps his SCV was looking to get some command center action going up there, but Ognis now able to run inside the 4th base of Gumiho, taking down those SCVs. The SCV count now down to 49. And Ognis is just completely taking control of this game. Gumiho trying to get what damage he can done with a Thor drop. It looks like it is able to jump on top of one of those tanks here. One of these tanks has 3 HP left over. And, you know, it's really interesting that he's been able to get that kind of damage done. With Thor's now starting to come out, Gumiho may be able to try and bust back through this this line of tanks, but they are going to siege up after seeing that the units are now coming back along their way. Thor dropped at the front, but soaking up far too much damage there, and Gumiho is in a very troublesome position right now. Ognis about to kick in with 3-3 on his upgrades, and despite the fact that some Hellbats have been able to get some damage done here, Ognis has been able to get his own damage done with the Hellions now out at the 6th base. They have roasted that up. The mining of Gumiho has been reduced quite a lot. In fact, both players are now getting a little bit low. Of course, the 3rd of Ognis still looking relatively good, but his 4th base across to the side has been all but wiped out right now. But the key thing is, he now has 2-3, about to be 3-3 on his upgrades. He's got a good siege position. His line of sight across to the side here has just sort of blocked in Gumiho right now. And as you can see, if Gumiho tries to wander down this ramp here, he's going to be in a little bit of a choke point. So he may just get polished off by a couple of these tanks right at the front. And he is going to try and continue with this bust out here, bringing along a Thor to try and get some damage done. Moving out the tanks to siege up the Hellions at the front, trying to soak up some of the damage, and they do get a really nice amount of damage done. The tank's unsieging for Ognis, and he says, you know what, it's all done and dusted now. I am going to unsiege. We're going to roll up and get some damage done here. Ognis is going to roll through this base here. Good GG from Gumiho. Fantastic TvT there. Good to see a mech TvT in Heart of the Swarm for, as I said, I'm pretty sure that's the first one I've actually been able to do. And what an absolute treat of a game to watch. So hope you all enjoyed that game. Make sure you share and subscribe and all those cool things you can do on the magical internets these days. And I'll see you all next time. But the Void Ray count is still relatively high, and with a storm going down, the Broodlords soak up quite a lot of damage there. Even some of the Hydras are getting taken out by that storm.